Hi, this is Alice Jamie Pollock. I'm your math professor. And sorry about the quality of this video. It's my first time to do this. But I really did want to show you a few things about Venn diagrams myself. So let's start with, I'm going to let D be the set of people who own dogs, and C be the set of people who own cats. And I have a Venn diagram set up here. And I have it broken into these regions, region 1, region 2, and region 3 and 4. Now, let's think of here, anywhere in this circle, would be the people who own dogs. Now, in the circle on the right, we would have any people who own cats. The intersection of this circle would be all the people who own dogs and cats. Isn't that cute? And we also have in our universal set, and remember that your universal set is everyone that I'm talking about. So like when I teach this in class, I have people raise their hands if they own a dog. Then I have them raise their hands if they own a cat. And then I say, if you do not own a dog or a cat, raise your hand. Now those people are still in my class, so they are part of my universal set, and they would go here, and I always say those are my really sad people, because they're so lonesome, they don't have a pet. But then they tell me, yeah, but I have a ferret, or I have a goat, or whatever they have. So actually they're probably happy people, but they do go in region 4. The people who do not have a dog or cat. By the way, if you've never seen the goats in pajamas videos, you should really see those. They make me happy. I try to watch them before I go to sleep. I sleep better when I see goats in pajamas. All right, so notice anybody in this circle owns a dog. They may own 5 dogs. They may own 1 dog. How many dogs they own does not matter. If they are in this circle, they own at least 1 dog. If they are in this circle, they own at least 1 cat. Where the circles overlap would be the people who have both a cat and a dog. Now, and remember, these people do not have a cat or a dog. Let's look at, if I ask you to find the region or regions that represent set D. Set D would be all the people who own dogs. They would be found in regions 1 and region 2. If I ask you to find the regions that represent everyone who owns a dog and also owns a cat. Now, I tell people to say and also when they say the intersect symbol. You can read it out loud as dog and cat, people who own dogs and cats. But I like to say and also because I think it helps with understanding. So the people who own dogs and cats would be here in the center. They have to own a dog. These are people who own dogs and people who own cats. They have to own both a dog and a cat. So they would be in region 2. Now, we also have people who do not own a dog and they own a cat. Now, if they do not own a dog, they cannot be in this circle. But they do own a cat. So that would be the people in region 3. These people do not own a dog and they do own a cat. Now notice I'm not bringing these people in because although they do not own a dog, they do not own the cat. So the only region that represents those who do not own a dog and also own a cat would be region 3. Now, what about those who do not own a dog and also do not own a cat? Well, the only people who do not own a dog and also do not own a cat are these people who are either sad and lonely or extremely happy because they have a goat. And that would be my people in region 4. Now, this is not to be confused with this, and they are not the same. This says the people who do not have a dog and also do not have a cat. This says I want to find those people who do not own a dog and also a cat. So the first thing I'll do is find who does have a dog and a cat. Well, the people who have dogs and cats are going to be here in region 2. This complement symbol says I do not want this. So if I do not want those who have a dog and a cat, then I want these regions. The ones who only have a dog, which would be region 1, only have a cat, region 3, and the ones who do not have a dog or a cat. They also would not own both a dog and a cat. Okay, so I hope that helped with that. I do that in my class, and it actually seems to help them. Plus, how cute is that with little cats and dogs, and people who are happy with no pets or miserable, but we represented them either way. Now, I want to look at a couple of Venn diagram problems with you. Let me see if I can get this to zoom in. You do not have these, so if you're following along with me, you can just have your own sheet of paper. And let me read the first problem. Of 30 students surveyed, now if there are 30 students surveyed, there are 30 people in this universal set altogether. So I'm just going to make myself a note that the universal set has 30 people. 12 had dogs, so I'll let this circle represent dogs, and I know that there will be 12 in that circle. 13 had cats. Well, I know that I will end up with 13 in that circle, and again, these are just my little notes. And 10 did not own a pet. Now, those 10 are those people with goats. So those 10 would be here. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. Now, I want to fill in this Venn diagram with everything that I know. Now notice I didn't even write anything in that circle because I'm only talking about people with dogs and cats. If I'm only talking about people with dogs and cats and you're given an extra circle, just don't use them. Just don't use that circle. You don't need it. All right, so now let's look. I know that altogether this was 30 people surveyed. But if I add up everyone with a dog, everyone with a cat, and everyone who did not own a pet in this class that was surveyed, I would get 12 plus 13 is 25, 35 people. But I know there are only 30 people in the class. So I have 5 people too many. What that means is 5 people raised their hand when I asked, do you have a dog? And 5 people also raised their hand when I asked, do you have a cat? Which gave me an overlap of 5 people. So I'll put that in the center. Now if there are 12 people with a dog, 5 of them have a dog and a cat. That means 12 minus 5, sorry, that's hard to read. 12 minus 5, which would be 7, only have a dog. And 13 minus 5, which would be what, 8? Y'all are probably better at arithmetic than I am. Give me calculus and trig over arithmetic any day. Now, I'm going to check myself. If I did this correctly, my 7 people who only have a dog, plus my 8 people who only have a cat, plus my 5 people who have a dog and a cat, plus my 10 people who do not have a dog or a cat, better add up to give me my 30 people total. Let's see, 7 and 5 is 12, and 8 is 20, plus that 10 is 30. I like my Venn diagram. Again, this was just for my notes. I needed to make sure there were 12 people who had a dog, and there are, and 13 people who had a cat, and there are. Now let me read the questions I need to answer. How many students owned both a dog and a cat? Well, that would be these students, so that would be 5. How many did not own a dog? Well, these people own only a dog. These people own a dog and a cat. These people only own a cat, which means they do not have a dog. So those 8. And these people do not have a dog or a cat, so they do not own a dog as well. so that would be 18. How many people owned a cat but not a dog? Owned a cat, let's see, but not a dog. That would be these 8 people. They own a cat but not a dog. Not those 5 people. They own a cat and a dog. Now, let's look at another problem. We have, just a minute, my computer stopped. So I have to see if I have this. Okay, sorry about that. I'll read the problem out loud because I know you can't see the whole thing. I'm going to do my best. Of 35 men surveyed, 12 owned a motorcycle. So I'm going to make notes. We've got 12 with a motorcycle. 19 owned a car. So I know I'm going to have 19 total in that circle. And 13 owned a truck. I'll let that be T, and I know I'll have 13 in that circle. 3 owned all 3 vehicles. Now I call that my sweet spot. You want to know that overlap of all the sets first, if you can. And in this case, I do. 3 owned all 3 vehicles. So I'm going to put those 3, let me do it in a color you can see. I'm going to put those 3 people right here. They owned all 3 vehicles. While 6 owned only a motorcycle. Those 6 would go here. 9 owned only a car. Those 9 would go here. And 2 owned only a motorcycle and a car. Oh, now wait a minute. A motorcycle and a car, but it says only a motorcycle and a car, so they didn't also have a truck, so they go in this area. Only a motorcycle and a car, and how many was that? 2. Now, I want to finish out this Venn diagram. Well, I look at my motorcycle circle, and I can see that it should have 12 people in it. I have 8, 9, 10, 11. So one person needs to own just a motorcycle and a truck so that I end up with 12 people with a motorcycle. Let me do a double check. 9, 10, 12. Now let's look at the car. I should have 19 people in that Venn diagram. I have what? 2, 3, that's 5, and 9, that's 14. I need 19. So I need 5 who only have a car and a truck. And let's find out how many have just a truck. I know I should have 13 people in this circle altogether. 13 people on the truck. So I've got 5, 8, 9 with a truck. So what? 9 and 4 is 13. Now remember, I had 35 people surveyed. So my universal set actually had 35 people in it. So to find out how many people, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do this math in my head. To find out how many people, how many of these men did not own a car, a truck, or a motorcycle. And ladies, we need to know who these guys are. These are the ones we need to give time to find themselves. They're riding their bicycle to school or walking, and that's okay. But let's give them a little time. Let's let them grow up. And then we'll look at them, because we really want to look at all these guys who already have some wheels. Dating is more fun without a bicycle. All right, so let me see. I'm going to have to add this up. That is, I'm going to go 10, 20, 30. All right, so I've got 30, which leaves me 5 people. These are those 5 guys that are walking around, but they're going to get a motorcycle or a car or a truck soon. And let me double check because I'm not sure. You should be double checking as well. 10, 15, 20, 30, 35. I believe that is correct. So now let me answer the questions. Sorry, you can't see the questions. How many only own a truck? That would be these guys, and that's 4. How many only own a car and a truck? Car, truck. Just a car and a truck, not a motorcycle, so I'm not going to pick up these 3 guys. These 5 own only a car and a truck. How many men did not own any of these vehicles? That would be these 5 guys right here who are finding themselves, and then, woohoo, life's going to be good. All right, so I'm hoping this is feeling a little bit easier now that you've seen some of these done. Now, I want to do one other because these actually had words or more words with them. I want to show you how I would do one like this. I know it's weird, I had to cut it out. A survey of 144 college students. Right now I'm going to write in my universal set, I know I'm looking for 144 people. It was done to find out what elective courses they were taking. Let A be the people, the set of those taking art, that would be here. B be those taking basket weaving. As a math major, I never did get to take that. And C be the set of those taking canoeing. Sounds fun, didn't get to take that either, I hope you do. The study revealed all of this information. Now remember I talked about that sweet spot? I always want to find that sweet spot first. The sweet spot is what all of these, it's where they all overlap. Who's taking art, basket weaving, and canoeing? I find the number of elements, or the number of people in this case, since we're talking about people, the number of people who are taking art and basket weaving and canoeing is 2. There's my sweet spot. I have 2 people where all 3 of my circles overlap or intersect. Now when we go back, I want to look at the pairs. The number of elements in B and C. So they're taking basket weaving and canoeing. Now look at this. It's this football. That is what's in B and C. Now if I know there's 23 in this football, but notice 2 of them are also in art. It didn't say they are only in basket weaving and canoeing. It just said there are 23 people who are taking basket weaving and canoeing, which means 21 would only be in basket weaving and canoeing, while 2 would be in all 3 of these. All right, now let's go back. What about art and canoeing? The number of students in art and canoeing is 15. Art and canoeing. Let me change my color. That would be this football. In art and canoeing, there's 15. Since I have my sweet spot of 2 people who are in all 3, if 15 are in art and canoeing, that means 13 have to be just in art and canoeing. Notice there's 15 who are taking art and canoeing. 2 of those are also in basket weaving. Now let's go to the next one. I have the number of people taking art and basket weaving is 12. Again, let me change colors. Art and basket weaving would be this football. There's 12 in that. Well, I've got 2 there. That way, now I know that I have 10 who are just taking art and basket weaving. Now I come up and I start looking at the number of elements in A, B, and C. If A has 45 elements in it, or 45 people in it, if A has 45, let's see how many I have here. I have 13, 14, 15, 25. That means I need just 20 in A, in only A. These 20 are only taking art. So now I have 20, 30, 43, 44, 45. And that's how many I should have. All right, let's look at people who are taking basket weaving. We have 55 of them in the basket weaving circle. Well, I already have 10 and 21, which gives me 31, and those 2, which gives me 33. So if I need 55 minus those 33 gives me what? 22. So I will have 22 people who are only taking basket weaving. Now I need to see how many people are taking, what is that, canoeing. There are 40 people who are taking canoeing. I have how many people in here? 15 and 21. 15 and 21, which gives me 36. But I know there's actually 40 people all together. So 40 minus that 36 leaves me with 4 people who are just canoeing. And that now gives me enough information. Now, and remember, how many students were not taking any of these electives? Now they're wanting me to find this. How many are not taking any electives? To find that number, I will take my 144 and I will subtract 20, subtract 10, subtract 22, subtract 13, subtract 2, subtract 21, and subtract 4. And when I subtract all of the people who are in these circles from the 144, that will give me the number of people who are not taking any of these electives. I didn't put a calculator by me. I'm not going to do that arithmetic, but you can do it. Remember that you can use a calculator on your test. You can use any calculator you choose. Take it to the testing center to take your test. And I know this was kind of raw. It was my first time, so bear with me. I'm hoping to get better as the semester goes along. And I just hope it helped. Good luck on your first test. Thanks.